Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Coach Bill with Weight Loss Made Easy Solution or Fat Loss Made Easy Solution, whatever way you like to hear it. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday so far. Today's my 20-hour fasting day, so I've got my black coffee just before I break my fast. I'm going to break my fast probably around 2 o'clock. I just got home. Emily and I just got home from the gym. We did interval training, and we also did interval cardio too. 20 minutes. I got my heart rate up maybe to 35 or 35% of my max. Nothing radical. No, maybe even higher than that. But anyway, I'm going to be very consistent this 2021 with my fasting days, and I'm only going to be doing a true fast. That's why my coffee is not a fat coffee today. The only time I'm going to have my fat coffee is during my eating window on my non-fasting days. That's the only time I'm going to have my fat coffee, which means I've got extra fat as flavor in my coffee. I use MCT oil. I really like the taste of coconut cream. I'll even put 2 tablespoons of coconut cream in my black coffee. And every once in a while, I'll do a heavy whipping cream, organic one, that doesn't have the A1 casein in it to flavor it. But that's only on my non-fasting days. So for the next 30 days, I'm going to really be strict on my fasting days and keep it clean keto or clean fasting, not a dirty fast. But today, guys, the topic for today, I was going to do this video in 2020, December, but I thought I'm going to go ahead and wait on this one because obviously everybody likes to do a New Year's resolution when it comes to weight loss or when it comes to reverse type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes, or if you have fatty liver disease and you want to get healthier, or if you're obese and you want to lose that body fat. So everybody jumps in the bandwagon and sets a New Year's resolution. But statistics shows that 92% of you will probably fail in the first 30 to 60 days. And the reasoning for that is lack of education and lack of guidance. A lot of people jump on Google, they Google fat loss programs, and they get inundated with all these different weight loss programs on there and exercise programs that are supposed to help you lose that belly fat or body fat, all these magic supplement pills that are supposed to help you lose weight. Well, they jump on the bandwagon and get confused. And so at first they may start losing a little bit of weight, but then eventually it will plateau. That's what happens. And that's why 92% of the people, I think it's more, will actually fail. Okay? So I saved this video for the new year to give you guys some advice and show you the science behind a program that has been around since your ancestors. And so it's like any other video that I do. If you go to my YouTube channel, type in Bill Mabry, subscribe to it. Or if you go to my Weight Loss Made Easy Solution Facebook group page and join it, this video will be posted in there. And if you go to the description section and you'll see the word more there, if you click on that, the complete outline of what I'm going to talk about will be in there along with a blog post with all the science I'm talking about and the information that I'm going to give you. I'm just going to give you a brief information on what the outline is, but it'll be in there also. So that's where you guys want to go to see everything, to see the complete specific of what I'm talking about. But the title of this topic today is going to be our primal meals, ketos. You guys know that's what we promote, and we combine it with an intermittent fasting, intermittent and prolonged fasting, a fad diet. So that's the topic. Our primal meals, keto, and intermittent prolonged fasting a fad diet. And I'm going to show you the truth and proof that it is not a fad diet, and I'm going to show you what is a fad diet. Okay, so if you're looking to start your New Year's Eve off right, and you're looking to get rid of the COVID extra fat that you've added, or if you're looking to reverse prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, or a fatty liver disease, or obesity, then why not start it with a plan that's been working for over 2,000 years? That's right. That's what I just said. Why not go with a plan that has been working for over 2,000 years? Doesn't that kind of make sense? I'm sure some of you are looking at me like, oh, I'm confused. What does that mean? Well, that's the problem. The problem is people are confused, and that this plan that I'm going to be talking about it's been around for so long that some of the founding fathers of medicine have been using this plan. And I'm going to give you their names, and I'm going to give you the statements that they made. So you want to go with a program that's been working for over 2,000 years. Primal meals keto and combining it with intermittent prolonged fasting has been around for over 2,000 years, guys. It is nothing new. So obviously, and I'm reading from some of my notes here, obviously it's not a fad. Because what is a fad? Well, a fad is what most of you are going to find on Google that you're going to try to do and use, and 92% of you are going to fail. So the program that Emily and I offer on our online coaching to our clients that helps to lose that COVID fat that you gained, or reverse pre or post or type 2 diabetes and fatty liver. This is what our founding fathers of medicine was using back in history. So why not go with something that's been working for that long? Didn't that kind of make sense to you? So there was in my description section on the outline, I'm going to show you a graph there. So there was a survey done in the 70s that showed adults were only eating 3 meals a day. Do you guys remember? Maybe some of you are too young, but when I was growing up, I remember my parents saying we could not snack, and the reason for that is because we had to save ourselves for dinner to eat our meals. I also remember living and growing up on a ranch that our first breakfast was around 10 o'clock was our first meal, because we worked out in we had a working horse ranch. So we were working on the ranch, and we had our first meal around 10 o'clock. Then we had our supper around 3, and then we had our dessert, our family time by the fire, around 6 or 7. So we were probably eating 2 solid meals with a dessert every single day. And that was back when I was growing up. But this graph shows that most adults, or most of the kids, were eating breakfast, lunch, and dinners and no snacks. And we didn't have an obesity problem back then. We didn't have a pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic amongst the young and old that were an epidemic back then. Okay, we didn't have an issue with obesity back then. And those of you that are probably my age could probably remember that, right? But what happened is in 2003 and 2006, there was a switch. And the FDA, is it the FDA or I forgot who the organization was. That's when adults started increasing their meals per day to up to 6 to 7 meals a day. So not only were they eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, The American public was eating throughout the day, and they were snacking. That was from around 2000 to 2006 is when that started. And I have the graph, will be in that outline. So in the 70s, the people were eating dinner at around 6 p.m. and eating breakfast around 8 p.m., and they were fasting for approximately 14 hours. So even back in the 70s, the people were fasting, and most of them didn't even know it. Because obviously, if you're asleep, you're not going to be eating food, right? Makes sense, right? Now, but by 2000, people were eating throughout the day. They were snacking throughout the day. They were the food industry and the health professionals were saying that you had to eat breakfast. You had to eat breakfast when you first wake up. That's when all this started, back in 2000. You need to snack at 10 a.m. Now you need lunch. Time for more food. Now at 3 p.m., time for more food. Along with that, people were even snacking throughout the day. And then they were going home and having dinner at 6 o'clock p.m. or so, 7. And then how many of you were having snacks before you go to bed? That's even your snacks are counted as food. Well, then starting in 2000, if you look at the research, you will see that by then obesity started to go on a rise. Today, it's an epidemic. Even today, people are eating way too many meals because that's what the industry says you had to. Well, what happens is that you're eating multiple meals, and then all of a sudden, you're having a snack at 9, 10, or 11 at night, and then you're waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning because you were told that you had to have breakfast to be healthy, and now you've cut your fasting time, and we all know the benefits of fasting because our ancestors did it. And there wasn't an epidemic of type 2 diabetes. There wasn't an epidemic of cancer. There wasn't an epidemic of type 2 diabetics in young adults. And there wasn't an epidemic in obesity. So why aren't they looking at our ancestors that have been following a plan for over 2,000 years to control these diseases? Well, because it's money motivated and nobody is speaking out about it. Nobody is informing the public about the situation that's getting worse today. Not getting better, it's getting worse because our food is so contaminated and our water is so contaminated that now people's immune systems are so depressed, they're catching multiple diseases, viruses like COVID. You guys have heard your medical professionals on TV say the ones that have the worst issues or catch it have depressed immune systems. Well, what causes that? A depressed immune system causes you to have that. Well, is there a root cause? And yeah, the root cause is inflammation of the body and the toxicity in the environment. And nobody's educating the people on how to reverse it. All they're telling you is take a vaccine. That isn't going to cure the problem. Not at all. Well, what's happened here is now the American public today is doing a minimum of 8 to 10 hours of fasting. And now, if you follow me or if you go to my YouTube channel or my Facebook group page, you'll see the videos I've done on how beneficial it is to be in a fasted state and how the body can detoxify. That's how the body detoxifies itself. You got to give the body a rest from eating to detoxify itself, to clean itself out. That's what our ancestors, our founding fathers in medicine said back then. That's how they did it. That's how they cured diseases. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors. So what is the fad? What is the fad? It is not the fasting or primal eating because it has been around for 2,000 years. It is part of our history. It is part of our history. Focus on that. I mean, it's all here. The answer to your problems on long-term fat loss is right in our ancestors or on the programs they were going on, not these fad diets that are out there now, which most of you are on. And that's why you're having a hard time. Either you lost the weight and it came right back, because you guys all know, you've been through it for years. Yeah, you lose some weight and then you fail and you gain it back, but it comes back twice as much, and it's 3 times as hard to get off. And when you get my age, which I'm over 60 plus, and you're obese, it's really hard to get off because of the hormones. That's another thing, and I'm not going to talk about that because that's a root cause of why so many of you are having issues, but you can go to my videos. So I'm not very good at pronouncing these scientific names, so you're going to have to forgive me. And sometimes these ancient scholars that have these weird names are hard to pronounce, so please forgive me. So here's one, Hippocrates. He was our founding father of medicine. And he made a statement. This is what he said. This is what is said. And I got the actual information here. He says this is the father of Western medicine. Hippocrates was born in 460 AD in ancient Greece. Is often quoted as saying, "Let food be your medicine." There was volumes of valid scientific, medical, peer-reviewed, unbiased, cutting-edge research studies as evidence demonstrating the healthy power of food and how fasting can actually reverse many disease models. That's him, and that was back in 460 AD. Are you getting it? You seeing the big picture here? Let's see what else. Now, Hippocrates, he wrote a book on how he used the program that we offer our clients to treat many medical issues. He wrote a book about this. This is not me talking to him. This is what is said that he has done. He also stated, and this makes sense, because our ancestors ate primal food and they fasted because they didn't have stores back then. They had to go out and hunt. So there was many times when these hunters didn't eat for 2 or 3 days. So they were practicing what? Primal eating or a ketogenic diet when they did catch food because they had caught meat. There was very little amount of veggies or fruits because it was only seasonal when they were able to eat it. So most of the time they were doing what? Primal eating. A high, good dietary fat meals back then. But what he stated, and not just him, these other ancient medicine or other ancient scholars, they said humans, now listen to what I'm going to say here. Humans have a fasting instinct. We haven't evolved away from our ancestors. Not at all. You guys that are eating multiple meals a day and that are contracting these viruses and diseases and you're obese and overweight, you have built in your body the instinct to fast. Because your body knows that that's how it's going to keep itself healthy. And that's how it's going to detox the environmental toxins out continually. And because of today and how crucial or how bad environmental toxins are, you need to be doing this more often. Not just once or twice a week. You need to be on a program that actually works. And that you're not going to be confused. Everything is going to be in front of you. That's why you need to hire me, basically. That's what you should do. Your first 90 days are crucial. Once you get past that, you're on your own, and you can do it. You can make it. So, humans have a fasting instinct. That's built into us already. You have just sabotaged it because you were told by some of these people who are money motivated and want you to eat more and get fat because you need medication to make them rich. And so they're telling you guys that you need to eat multiple meals a day and snack all day. And it doesn't work. It never has worked. And it never will work. So you're depressing your immune system at the same time. Religions have been practicing fasting for centuries. Why is that? Because of clarity. That's a big one. Today, a lot of people have foggy brain, right? Loss of energy. That's another reason why they fasted back then. The energy level. If you're not eating for 2 or 3 days because you can't find your meal, and all of a sudden you come up upon a meal and you got to chase that sucker down, well, where's the energy coming from if you haven't eaten for 2 or 3 days? Well, that's built inside you. That's where the instinct is. Your body already knows how to produce the energy to chase down that critter or whatever you're chasing down. After you've eaten it, it replenishes itself. It's that simple. It really is that simple, guys. Like I said, you got the instinct to do it. Most of the world thought fasting, this is back in the ancient days, most of the world thought fasting was part of the way we eat. They did. Today? No. People live for eating now. And that's okay as long as you control it and you're eating the right foods. Emily and I, we're flexible now because we're so fat adapted. You can go back to my YouTube channel and check out what that means. Benjamin Franklin. I'm sure you guys have heard who this guy is. What did he say? Okay, let me quote it. I'll quote what he said. And I got his picture there and his quote. He says, "The best of all medicines is resting and fasting." Okay, medical professionals, deny that one. You can't. It's history. What did Mark Twain say? This is another one. Mark Twain says, "A little starvation can really do more for the average sick man than can the best medicine and the best doctors." Come on, guys. The proof is all here. And that's why we're promoting this program, because it's been used for over 2,000 years and it's had more research done to it than any fad diet today. Besides, these fad diets don't work. If these fad diets work, then why is there an epidemic in type 2 diabetes among the young and old? If these fad diets worked, why is obesity still an epidemic here in the United States? If these fad diets worked, why is cancer an epidemic? It's because with cancer, the food they're feeding you while you're doing your chemo is the food that causes cancer. That's it. And there's doctors now that are starving cancer cells by changing the foods and the time they're eating by using a program that's been around for 2,000 years. They're doing that. And they have their own research. But why aren't you hearing about it? Well, they don't want you to know, like anything else. So, primal eating, keto, and intermittent fasting is not a fad. It is the oldest dietary intervention in human history. Got it? The real fad is eating all the time. The fasting has been around for several thousands of years, and you guys can research that yourself. Eating several meals per day has been around for around 30 to 35 to 40 years. So look what it has done to the American public. They changed the way we were eating in 2000 to multiple meals and snacking every day. And look what's happened today, an explosion of obesity, an explosion of type 2 diabetes, an explosion of fatty liver disease, which most of you who are overweight don't even know you have it, but you do, and it's a precursor to get worse. So the ideal of these health professionals telling you you must eat all the time, they have it all wrong. And they're not listening to what our ancestors suggested they should do. And besides, today, there's way too much research proven that the ancient program has always worked. Way too much. There is no way that any honest health professional or honest doctor could ever deny that this program does not work with many disease models in reversing them. Because there's too much proof. Okay? So, eating 5 to 6 meals per day has caused most of the public to lose control. Now, how many of you heard me say this? To lose control of certain hormones. Hormone plays a huge part in why you're having such a hard time losing weight, or why you have type 2 diabetes or prediabetes, or why you have a fatty liver. It's huge. It's the root cause. And by eating multiple meals every single day, you've lost control of that hormone that's designed to store fat. You got to get control of it with a program that's been around for over 2,000 years that works. I've tried different fad diets in my lifetime. They don't work. Except this one here. I have never able to keep the fat or keep my body fat this low ever for this long a time. Never have. And it's simple. My body is so fat adapted, I don't have the craving. See, that's natural. Once you become fat adapted, that's what your body wants to be in. You have no control over the cravings because there is no cravings. You don't want them. And when you do go out and indulge, you're sick. Do a few of those and you're done. Okay? So in just a short time during this ancient dietary plan, I have a client who was battling type 2 diabetes. And I put his story in this outline and his picture. And he's been a type 2 diabetic for quite a few years on massive amounts of medication that's supposed to lower his blood glucose sugars or level. It never worked. He's taken all this medication that has major side effects to it, and it still didn't drop his blood sugar to a healthy level, even being on it. And because it wasn't dropping, guess what they did? They added more of the poison to him. It didn't work. So what did he do? He felt that he needed to go outside the box and find a different way. He did a little bit of research himself and found out that a lot of people were reversing type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetes by just changing the type of foods they were eating, the time they were eating, and the water they're drinking, which the water plays a big part. Hydration, major part in reversing a lot of disease models out there. So what I did is I put his story in there, and in a short period of time, not only did he reverse his type 2 diabetes, and his blood test documentation will always overrule conversation. His recent blood test showed he is no longer a type 2 diabetic, and the byproduct of him controlling his diabetes and reversing it was, you'll have to go on my YouTube channel and see his picture. That's the byproduct. So he followed. He was consistent. That's the key. He followed the 2,000-year-old plan that's been part of our history. He followed it to the T, and he got the results that he was looking for. Okay, so guys, I hope you saw some value in this, and please share this with your friends and family members, especially those that do have type 2 diabetes or prediabetes or fatty liver disease or obese. And those of you that have added on the COVID, some of that COVID fat share it with your friends and families, and really consider in spending the money to hire me to guide you through all this and educate you through all this so you're not confused, because after 90 days, you'll basically be an expert, and a lot happens in 90 days when you're consistent and you're following the program the way it was designed to be followed. The results are just unbelievable, and I have plenty of documentation proving it. And so, and for myself even, I was obese also, and some of you that follow me have seen my before and after pictures. So basically, this program that I'm talking about, that's over 2,000 years old, actually saved my life, and it's going to keep saving my life, because I will never, I can't say never, but I'm working really hard in not having cancer return. Some of you know that I had it in the past. So the program is designed to keep diseases like cancer under control. I have to be really, really careful, though. I can't go out and a lot of people can follow this program, like my wife, and they can have comfort food throughout whenever, and it won't bother them. For me, because of being post-cancer, I got to be really careful with that, because sugar is the main food source for cancer. So even if I'm only doing sugar maybe once or twice a month, that really is too much for me, because I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's dormant now. So what I'm doing right now with this plan, I'm starving if there's any cancer cells floating around there, I'm starving them. Okay? And Dr. Thomas Seifield has proved that cancer cells cannot live off fat. That's why I'm sticking to a higher dietary fat and very low carbs, which means I don't do that much starchy carbs. Okay? So guys, like I said, you can go to my YouTube channel, type in Bill Mabry, subscribe to it, look at the description section, and hit the more button. And my client's picture and what he went through and what the doctor said will be there. You can also go to my Weight Loss Made Easy Solution Facebook group page and join it. And if you want to know more information about my online coaching plan for the first 60 or 90 days, all you got to do is message me and at drinknatureswater@gmail.com. Okay? Hope you guys have some value in this, and you guys have a great rest of the day and weekend, and let's pray for a great 2021. Okay? Have a great day. Bye.